Welcome to Small Town Whispers, where history, folklore, and the paranormal collide. I'm Bethany Yucuis Borden, and I lived in Watseka, Illinois from 1988 to 1999. For over a decade, I walked the same streets, saw the same houses, and even had friends connected to the story we're about to dive into. This isn't just history for me, it's personal. Welcome back to Small Town Whispers, everybody. We have one more excerpt of the book today, and then next week we're going to wrap up Season 1, The Watseka Wonder. Thanks for sticking with me. I don't even want to spend much more time talking because I want to get right to it. But I just want to say thank you, and I can't wait to see you back for Season 2 in October. Now let's get back to the book one more time. Watseka, America's Most Extraordinary Case of Possession and Exorcism, on page 299. They gasped because there was someone sitting on the number 6 chair. It was a man, and he was only wearing a piece of cloth around his waist. He was barefoot and bare-chested. His skin was dark, but not as dark as Lucy's.
Good evening.
Frank and Henry Alter had to hold on tightly to Charlotte's hands as she tried to get out of the circle completely.
Do not be alarmed. I am not here to harm you. I am here to carry out a mission.
Dr. Stevens was the first to regain his composure. A mission? Can you tell us what it is?
I cannot. You will discover for yourselves.
Asa looked at Larancy's seat. She was not there. Where is the girl? He asked.
Gone.
Gone? Gone where?
Just gone. She will be back. Please.
And he unclasped his hands from Frank and Charlie's.
Do not ask so many questions. I have work to do, and not too much time nor energy.
He stood in front of Lucy, who was looking at him with eyes as big as teacups.
Give it to me,
he said, holding out his hand. What? She asked.
The figure. The carved figure we have been saving for so long.
Lucy handed him the amulet that had been resting in her lap. He held it up and stared at it for a few seconds. Then he raised the figure far over his head, holding it aloft for a minute or more, before he shouted and threw it with all his force into the basin of water that was in the center of the circle. Immediately, there was a gigantic puff of flame and smoke. It roared up out of the basin, and the heat pressed harshly against the faces of everyone in the circle. Anne screamed and jumped up, getting away from the flames. Minerva and Charlotte did the same. The men pushed back their chairs. Charlie fell over backward and scrambled to get out of the way. My God! What are you doing? Asa shouted. He's going to burn the house down, Henry yelled. I want out of here! Charlotte rushed toward the door. They're locked! I can't get out!
Desist! There is no danger. Stay where you are.
The command of his voice brought a stillness into the room. They stood there staring at the flames that rose straight up out of the basin. The flames were high and hot, yet they didn't expand. It was like a flaming ornamental fountain rising up smoothly and forcibly and with directed purpose. No one in the room had ever seen anything like it before, but no one approached to investigate it closer. Meanwhile, on Hickory Street, Lavinia Durst put down the novel she was reading. She sat for a moment, wondering if she had heard something or whether it was her imagination. No, there was somebody in the front hall, inside the front door. "Who's there?" she called. Nobody answered. "Sarah, is that you?" When there was no answer, Lavinia got up from her easy chair and walked to the hallway. Sarah? 2 people stood inside the door. 2 girls. One was Larancy Venom. The other was Mary Roth. Lavinia screamed, a high shattering scream that shook her whole body. She clutched at the wall, trying to steady herself. Her breath came in short, burning gasps. The girls stood there, together, not saying anything. Somehow, Lavinia regained enough strength to move back into the front room. The girls followed, silently. Lavinia put her hand over her heart. She was sure it was going to burst. She wanted to scream again, but no sounds would appear. The 2 girls advanced closer to her. She collapsed into a chair. Her hands were trembling so badly she couldn't control them to come up and cover her eyes.
You were warned. More than once.
Lavinia took a deep breath. "Get out of here! Both of you!"
We warned you. You wouldn't listen.
"You're crazy! Both of you are crazy! Leave me alone!"
You didn't leave us alone.
As soon as I get my breath, I'm fetching the police."
Why did you do those things?
Why didn't you leave us alone?
"I'll get the law on you. You'll see. I'll get the law." That's when she smelled the smoke. It started as a wispy curling around the feet of the 2 girls and slowly came up their skirts and down their arms. "You're on fire!" she screamed, struggling to get out of the chair. "Fire!" The flames followed the smoke, bursting the girls' skirts into brilliant blasts of yellow and red. They stood looking at her, not smiling, just looking. Lavinia couldn't rise from the chair. Her legs were weak and her arms shook. "Please, please." Then the flames spread from the girls' skirts to the Persian rug on the floor, then from the rug to the legs of the sofa, behind the sofa, then up the side of the sofa to the pillows and the draperies. Lavinia couldn't move. She clutched at her heart.
Why did you do those things?
You were warned.
All at once, the entire house burst into flames. Glass shattered in the upper windows. The roof screamed with the force of the flames. Just minutes after the flames had reached it, the roof caved into the scorching shell of Lavinia Durst's house. At that moment, the shooting pillar of flame in the Roth parlor went out. The oil lamps came back up. The stranger vanished. Larancy was sitting in her 12 o'clock chair. She opened her eyes.
It's over. It's all over. The seance, everything. It's over.
The guests began to talk at once. What was that all about? What happened? Who was that man? How did he make water burn like that? Mary, where did you go? Larancy stood up.
Ma, I'm very tired. I want to go to bed.
Of course, dear, Anne said. I'll come up with you. Hey, listen! The fire department is going somewhere, Charlie shouted. They could hear the clanging of the bells. Wonder where it is. Come on, Frank, let's go. Can we, Ma? Frank asked. She nodded. I suppose so. The seance is over.
You won't see much. It's all over. There's nothing left.
The boys ran out of the room, followed by Henry Alter and the mayor. Henry was a member of the volunteer fire department and wanted to get there as soon as possible. The mayor was the man in charge of all city departments. He should be there too. Dr. Stevens put his arm around the girl. Are you all right, Mary?
Yes, now I am. Everything is going to be fine from now on.
That was a most impressive demonstration. That seance was quite unusual. I'm glad I was here to see it.
I'm glad you were too. You have been a great help to me and the work I had to do.
She kissed him on the cheek, above the beard. Let's get you to bed, young lady. You've had a long day, Lucy said.
I will, Lucy. But first there is something I have to say. A kind of announcement. Ma, Pa, dear Nervy, and Dr. Stevens. What I have to say is sad, but it is also happy for some people.
What is it, dear? Anne asked.
Tomorrow, I'm going away. For good.
Tomorrow? Anne felt the tears welling up in her eyes. So soon?
Tomorrow, my work here is finished. Larancy is well and normal. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock in the morning, the Venom girl will come back to claim this body.
Anne reached out and hugged the girl.
Oh, Ma. I don't want to go. Really, I don't. I want to stay here with you and Pa and the boys. But I can't, Ma.
Anne wiped away Larancy's tears. You've got to be brave. We've all got to be brave about this. We've known it was coming, and we thank God that He let us have you for as much time as He did.
Nervy, will you come for the Venom girl tomorrow at 10:30? Will you take her back to her folks?
Of course I will. She also had tears in her eyes.
And Pa, will you have the Venoms at your office tomorrow at 11? That's where she wants to meet them.
Don't worry, he said. They'll be there. The girl gave Lucy a kiss and a lingering hug, then embraced Dr. Stevens again.
I'm very tired. I want to go to bed now, Ma. I really do.
By the time the boys returned to tell their pa that Lavinia Durst's home had been completely destroyed, Larancy was asleep. Asa was on the front porch, in the rocking chair, in the dark. And the place just went up like a tinderbox, Charlie reported. Nothing could be saved. By the time the fire engine got there, the roof had caved in. You should see it, Pa, Frank said. It's all burnt down into tiny ashes. Yeah, as if there had never been a house there at all. Or a woman. They are positive old lady Durst died in the fire. Aren't you going to see it? No, I'm not. Their work is always effective and complete. What? Nothing, Asa answered. Nothing at all. Just thinking. Why don't you get to bed? Tomorrow will be another exhausting day around here. Why? Frank asked. Your sister is leaving tomorrow. For good. Larancy Venom is going to take over and go home. Really? The boys looked at each other. Can we stay home from school? You'll see her at breakfast. It's best not to have too many people around. Now, go on upstairs and get to bed. You coming too, Pa? No. I'm going to sit out here a while longer. There are some things I want to sort out in my mind. Tuesday, May 21st, 1878. Lucy and Anne helped Larancy pack her belongings into a suitcase. All the clothes and gifts that she had acquired during her stay at the Roffs were going home with her. They belonged to Larancy, even though they had been given to Mary. Anne didn't want them around. There would be enough memories without coming across items that reminded her of her daughter's second death. The girl hardly ate any breakfast. She had been crying during the night and her eyes were red. She didn't want to leave her family again, but there was nothing else she could do. It had been part of the bargain. Frank and Charlie hugged Larancy and kissed her several times. You come back and see us, they said.
Larancy will come back. I won't be able to. Not anymore.
Well, anyway, it was real fine having you home with us, Mary. We'll miss you. After they had gone, Asa rose from the table. I'll get over to the office and take your things with me. I'll take Laurancie's things with me and give them to her parents. He checked his pocket watch. You'll be there at 11?
Yes, Pa.
He started toward the rear door where the horse and buggy waited.
Pa?
He stopped. Yes?
I love you, Pa. I really do.
I know, and I love you too. As he reached the buggy, he stopped and wiped his eyes with his coat sleeve. When Minerva arrived at 10:30, Anne called Dr. Stevens downstairs. She will be going soon, she said. I know you wanted to say goodbye. The girl was in the parlor, sitting on the velvet sofa with Lucy. Tears glistened on the African woman's face. You take care of yourself now, child. You hear?
I will. Lucy, I shall try and come to you. When you need me, please call me and I'll try and come.
In a body? The woman asked.
No, I'll just be there. You'll feel my presence, but you won't be able to see me.
I'll see you, child. I'll see you in my heart. You'll always be there. Always. Mary, Anne said, it's getting close to time. Charlotte came around the sofa, and Laurancie got up. I want to hug you, the woman said, and tell you goodbye. In the beginning, I didn't think you were really who you were. I didn't know what to think. But I know now. She reached out her arms, and the girl came into them. You come back and see us. When you are Rancy, Remember that there will always be cakes and cookies and things just for you. Oh, she tried to laugh. Look at me. Frogs in my throat. The girl returned the embrace. Dr. Stevens stood beside her. Mary, I shall miss you, but I shall always treasure your memory.
Pray for me, sir. You've been a wonderful, wonderful friend. Without you, none of this would have been possible.
Nonsense. I didn't do anything.
You opened the doors. I stood on the other side knocking, but you opened the doors. There must always be two, one on this side and one on the other.
Mary, Nervy said, it's almost time. The girl stood in front of Anne and then dropped to her knees, her head in the woman's lap.
Oh, Ma, I really am sorry that I have to go away. How I wish I could stay and be with you always. But it can't be done. Pray for me, Ma, and don't forget me. Ever.
Anne caressed the girl's hair. She wanted to say so many things she had saved for this moment. But all the words that would come out were, I love you, daughter. You'd better go. The Venoms are waiting. The girl lifted her face, and Anne kissed her. Nervy touched her shoulder. Mary, we must be going. Laurancie arose and gave a brave smile to everyone in the room.
I feel sad at parting with you all, for you have treated me so kindly. Your sympathy and love has helped me to cure this body.
Then to Minerva.
Please, let's go.
The sound of the closing front door echoed forever in Watseka's memory.
Goodbye, everyone. And thank you.
See you on the other side.
Now, join me under the porch light, the place where memories meet the present and voices from the past still linger in the dark. Tonight, we listen, not to the pages from a book, but to the people who have felt the unexplained and found the courage to share it. Welcome to Porchlight Whispers.
I am sitting here with Billy Lewis from Wilmington, a fellow paranormal enthusiast. I'm so happy this worked out.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking time kind of last minute.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It was cool. I connected with your wife on Facebook. I think you guys have a paranormal investigator coming into town soon.
Yes, we do. Bubba After Dark. He's got a pretty big following on TikTok.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Can't wait to see what he finds here. What life experiences sparked your curiosity in the paranormal?
So my dad was a big high school football coach here in North Carolina. Besides sports, it was always movies. And even as a kid, I always felt drawn to like horror movies like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and Chucky movies and all that. There were VHS stores out and you had to go and rent a VHS. And me and my friends would have sleepovers and she would let us rent those horror movies. And I don't know why. But beyond that, growing up in school, book fairs, I remember always just kind of being drawn to like UFO books, books about Bigfoot, books about scary places and scary stories and this and that. That's not something I ever thought that I would pursue or even know how to pursue it, to be honest with you. And then it took the path to doing what I'm doing. Fell into it because I've been a filmmaker for a long time. I worked in TV news for 5 years back in the early 2000s. And then when I got out of that, I started my own production company. But that was just doing like TV commercials and marketing videos for companies, which I still do. But then along the way, I did a couple of horror movies that I wrote and directed, one called The Terrible Two and the other one called The Jailhouse. I brought in C. Thomas Howell, who was Pony Boy from The Outsiders. He was in Red Dawn, which you can find on the ScareNetwork. ScareNetwork is an actual platform. It's not just a YouTube channel. ScareNetwork.tv is our website, and we have apps out on Roku, on Apple, on Android, Apple TV, Fire TV.
Okay.
And then, like I said, the website is ScareNetwork.tv.
That's awesome. So I had the same interest in books. By the time I was in 4th grade, I remember reading It by Stephen King.
Yeah.
But it did start at book fairs, like scary stories you can tell in the dark and Goosebumps. Yeah. When I was 8, I had an experience that I couldn't explain and kind of stuck with me and really kind of kickstarted my fear of the dark and being alone sometimes. Did you have any experiences like that, or were you just more drawn to the genre?
I was just drawn to the genre, to be honest with you. I mean, thinking about paranormal and ghosts and all that stuff, growing up, never entered my mind. Before I started the platform, my wife and I would watch a lot of these ghost shows on TV, like Ghost Adventures, and we would laugh at them. We would be like, oh my gosh, there was a crack of an old board and they are claiming it's a thing. And then here I am a couple years later going into these locations and these places doing the same thing pretty much.
I would watch them and be like, oh, wow, we're watching their face be scared. Ooh. Yeah. But then I don't really investigate, but we did stay in a house in my hometown where this book I'm reading is based.
Well, when you first do it, it is kind of weird. Now, I've been to so many places now and shot so many things and I use the word haunted lightly because I'm still kind of a skeptic, but I've seen so much stuff now and experienced so much stuff and caught so many voices and shadow figures. Still consider myself a filmmaker. I think by default, I've kind of become a little bit of a paranormal investigator, but I normally am working with a lot of other paranormal investigators, but I'm finding I'm having to throw myself kind of into the mix too, because for whatever reason, I tend to get really good evidence at these locations, whether it be an EVP recording or disembodied voices or things moving or this and that. And so I think that me and Molly, I know is one of the questions you asked. She's been on a few investigations and a couple of our documentaries. And weird stuff always seems to happen with her, too. So I think we're going to try to go and start doing some more live stuff along with the professional documentaries and stuff, too.
That's awesome. Can you just say again, like, what the inspiration was to start ScareNetwork?
Have you ever heard of this show called The Unexplained on the History Channel, hosted by William Shatner?
Oh, yes. I've watched many episodes of that.
Yeah. So when that first came out in 2019, they profiled this house in Indiana. It's called Willow's Weep, and it was shaped like an upside-down cross, and they called it the most evil house in America. And it was only like a 7 to 8 minute segment they did on it, but they interviewed the owner, and they were talking about all the suicides that had happened in there, murders, and just the deaths in the house. And I was like, It's really crazy. And then immediately I was like, man, this would be good to write a narrative movie about, because I've written a lot of narrative movies. So immediately that's what I'm thinking. Long story short, I got up with the owner and ended up driving to Indiana to go to the actual house. Tons of interviews with them, did a bunch of segments. I threw them, I actually caught a shadow figure with a planted GoPro camera within the house. Threw them up on the YouTube page, not ScareNetwork because I hadn't started it yet, but my production company's called Orange Street Films. Put it up on there, and a lot of those videos were getting thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of views. And I was like, man, people really like this stuff. So that was kind of the inspiration. And then my movie, The Jailhouse I was telling you about with C. Thomas Howell, had actually gotten on a network. It's defunct now. It's out of business. It was called the Chiller Network. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah, it was owned by Sci-Fi and by NBC. But I always liked that name, the Chiller Network.
I did too.
So I was like, man, what's something that could be similar to that? And I just thought of the ScareNetwork. And I ended up filming a full-length documentary, Willow's Week, which you can find on the platform. And there's tons of teasers on the YouTube channel as well. And then we ended up doing this really cool documentary in Ohio at this house, a really weird history, and we got so much paranormal evidence. That one's called Malefice, and to this day, I think I released that 5 years ago right now, June of 21. To this day, that's probably still one of the top paranormal documentaries that we've done on the platform because the paranormal evidence is crazy. What happened to me, we stayed at this house for like 3 days. It was an Airbnb as well, and shot and investigated and went out in the woods and did all this crazy stuff. Every night that I went to sleep, I planted a GoPro on myself sleeping. One night on the GoPro, you clearly hear this woman scream, and it is so chilling. And there was no women with us. The house is isolated, kind of back on a road, and it wasn't a rooster or anything like that. That was the very first big release of the platform, Malefice was.
So you've had a lot of experiences. Do you have any ideas yourself of what locations in America seem to have the most paranormal activity?
There's an old abandoned hospital in Texas, Yorktown, Texas, called Yorktown Memorial Hospital. We went out there a few years ago and did a whole documentary on that. You can find that on the platform. They say that over 2,600 people died. I've never felt scared. I've never felt threatened. And I've been to some locations where some really bad things have happened. That was the one out in Texas where I honestly, when I was walking around by myself, getting shot at 2 o'clock in the morning, it was freezing cold, but I knew I had to get B-roll shots of different parts of the hospital. That's one, probably about the only place where I actually felt like somebody or something was standing over my back and watching me the whole time. But but I had to put it out of my head and just say, hey, I got to get these shots. Nobody else is. There's so many haunted locations around the United States, and I've been to many of them.
Billy, can you tell us one more time the best ways we can access your content?
Yeah, so ScareNetwork.tv is a streaming platform, and we have apps out on Roku, on Apple, Apple TV, on Android TV, Fire TV, and then the website, you just type in your web browser, ScareNetwork.tv, and you can go and create an account. It's only $4.99. There's a lot in the genre of paranormal, horror, true crime, and monsters. So if you're into that, please check us out. Give us a follow on social media and tell everybody you know about it.
I will link all of that in this episode's description. Thank you, Billy, again for taking time this morning.
Yep, I appreciate it.
Always a good time to be scared.
Oh, yeah. I'm sitting here editing a new paranormal documentary about St. Augustine Jail. So took a little break from that to do this. So I appreciate you having me.
Pay attention. It's working.
That was this week's edition of Porchlight Whispers. Do you have an experience of your own to tell? We want to hear your stories. Share your experience and let your small town whispers become part of ours.
And with that, the porchlight dims, but the whispers stay with us. Join us again next time when another voice steps into the light.